Davian's demand for a Hartley daughter to be his mistress was pure vengeance. My brother and Noah would never let Fiona Merrick go, so I made the decision for them. I'm willing to be your mistress, just spare the Hartley family. I stayed silent, signing the agreement in front of me without hesitation. After finalizing the deal, I returned home. The moment I approached the door, heated voices erupted from within. Since my father's death and the subsequent downfall of the Hartley and Radford families, arguments over money have become the norm. I stepped inside, ready to tell them the matter had been resolved. Before I could speak, my brother's hand struck me hard across the face. Lauren Hartley, how could you be so selfish? You're protecting your luxurious life by forcing Fiona to become Davian Sinclair's mistress. His voice was sharp with anger. Davian Sinclair is our family's enemy. He's infamous for his cruelty and temper. How could Fiona have a good life with him? Fiona tugged at my brother's sleeve with teary eyes as I opened my mouth to explain. It's okay, brother. I'll do it for the Hartley family. Besides, if I refuse, Lauren might push me into the pool again. What? My brother's rage intensified. Lauren, you've gone too far. Lying, bullying Fiona, and it's not enough. Now you are doing something so vicious? It seems you won't learn your lesson without consequences. Before I could defend myself, my brother and Noah exchanged a glance and dragged me toward the pool. The two in the throes of anger simply couldn't listen to any of my explanations. Wait, my protests were drowned out as they pushed me into the icy water. I struggled several times to come up, but my head was pressed down, and I could only let the cold water pour in through my ears and nose. My vision blurred as my consciousness began to slip away. Memories surfaced. A time when my brother and Noah had stood by my side as I learned to swim in this very pool. Back then, I had only swallowed some water, and their eyes brimmed with worry. Noah had held my hand, vowing, Lauren, you were born to enjoy life. Before marriage, you are the only young lady of the Hartley family. After marriage, you will be the wife of the Radford family. You'll never suffer as long as we're here. But now, they didn't let me go until I was on the brink of drowning. When I finally gasped for air, shivering and coughing, I saw them embracing Fiona by the poolside, whispering comforting words. Don't worry, Fiona, my brother said gently. You're making a huge sacrifice for the Hartley family. We'll never let Lauren bully you again. Once you're back from Davian, I'll marry you with the grandest ceremony. My brother quickly instructed the housekeeper to prepare ginger tea for her. Dragging myself out of the pool, soaked and trembling, I faced the cold wind. Yet the chill in my heart far surpassed the cold outside. I let out a bitter laugh and trudged back to my room alone, ignoring the cold that seeped through my soaked clothes. After what felt like hours, Noah entered my room, carrying a bowl of ginger tea that had already gone cold. Lauren, I know you're my childhood sweetheart and fiancé, he began, his tone heavy with supposed guilt. But Fiona sacrificed herself for your sake. I can let you stay by my side, but the title of Mrs. Radford will only ever belong to Fiona. It's what we owe her. I stared at him. The man who once swore to love me for a lifetime was now reduced to a stranger spouting lies. The sheer irony made me laugh inwardly. Be Davian Sinclair's mistress to repay the Hartley family for raising me? Fine. But to become Noah's mistress? For what? For love? The bond we shared as childhood sweethearts had shattered the moment he chose Fiona over me. I swallowed my pride, pointed at the door, and demanded he leave. Noah didn't move, but Fiona waltzed into the room with a bright smile. Lauren, are you still mad? My two brothers acted impulsively earlier, but only because they wanted to stand up for me. We're family. Why hold grudges over something so trivial? Her voice dripped with faux innocence as she stepped closer. Here, let me feed you the ginger tea. You wouldn't want to catch a cold. Before I could react, Fiona reached for the spoon in my hand. In the tussle, a few drops of the tea splashed onto her hand. She gasped dramatically, her eyes welling with tears as she looked at me accusingly. Why do you hate me so much, sister? I know I'm just a driver's daughter and don't deserve to be a Hartley family foster child, but I'll leave soon. I won't threaten your place in their hearts anymore. Why keep making things difficult for me? Enough, Lauren, Noah exploded, shoving me aside. Fiona's already suffered enough. Why can't you just leave her alone? Noah pushed me away with one hand. My feet were unsteady. I stumbled and fell to the floor, shards of broken porcelain embedding into my hand. Blood trickled down my palm, but Noah didn't spare me a glance. Instead, he and my brother fussed over Fiona, fretting over her non-existent burn. As my blood dripped onto the cold floor, I looked up to see my mother standing at the top of the staircase, her face dark with anger. Finally, I let my frustrations spill over. Mom, silence, she snapped, cutting me off. She dismissed the housekeeper who tried to help me, then strode forward with a cup of tea in hand. Without hesitation, she splashed its contents onto my face. Fiona lost her father. She's already suffered enough, and you still dare to bully her? What would people say about the Hartley family if this got out? Lauren, how could you repay the Hartley family's kindness with such ingratitude? The blood from my palm continued to pool on the floor, draining away the last remnants of warmth I felt for this family. I raised my head and looked toward the living room's centerpiece, a spot that once displayed a family portrait of all of us together. Now, it held only my father's framed photograph. When my father was alive, I was the little princess of the capital, envied by everyone. My brother, Jason Hartley, doted on me, and Noah worshipped the ground I walked on. My life was filled with luxury, jewels, and endless affection. The only hardship I ever faced was the serious illness that struck me at 18. Back then, my brother ignored all objections to donating his kidney to me, while Noah knelt before the temple altar until his knees bled, praying for my recovery. When I finally recovered, both men were shadows of their former selves, pale, weak, and drained. I still remember Noah, feverish and limping, pressing a talisman into my hand. "As long as we're here, Lauren, you'll always be happy." But now, as I sat on the cold, hard floor, bleeding and alone, that promise felt like a cruel joke. But this happiness came to an abrupt end with a car accident. Dad and the driver died unexpectedly. Before his death, the driver entrusted Fiona to the Hartley family. To everyone's surprise, the Hartley family suddenly fell from grace, and both daughters became nothing more than commodities for sale. Fiona moved quickly, pretending to be innocent and pitiful to win everyone's sympathy. They felt sorry for her, worried about the Hartley family's reputation, and feared she would suffer even the slightest hardship. But no one cared about how difficult it was for me, having lost my father and being abandoned by everyone. "Lauren, what are you standing there for? Hurry up and apologize to Fiona." My brother and Noah glared at me, but when they saw the pool of blood on the floor, their faces froze. Noah hesitated, stepping forward. "I didn't know you were hurt this badly. Let me help you." "No need." My cold response made him uneasy. I quietly tended to my wound, then spent the rest of the day packing my things. Looking at the familiar room, I felt a mix of emotions. This was the princess room my brother Noah had personally designed for me. It was every girl's dream. "Lauren, move to the basement for a while, and let Fiona have your room." My brother's voice brought me back from my memories. Before I could respond, the two of them eagerly began packing up my things. "Once the guest room is ready, you can move out of the basement. You just have to endure for a while. Fiona, however, will have to endure 3 years of humiliation for you." Yes, I only needed to endure for 3 years at the Sinclair family. Here, the humiliation and cold indifference felt endless. I was no longer the cherished little princess held lovingly in everyone's hands, a fallen heiress, a mistress kept in the shadows. I wasn't worthy of any of it anymore. Under their stunned gazes, I threw the remaining belongings into the trash. Everything in this house, along with the memories of old affections, I wanted none of it. "Lauren, what kind of tantrum are you throwing now? You've already ruined this home." My brother's face was livid, but he fell silent when he noticed the photo album lying in the trash. He placed the cleaned album in my hands. That thin book chronicled the story of the three of us, from the day I was born to my first words. From playing house to our official engagement, the three of us had grown closer with time, almost becoming a real family. But love, when too deep, becomes fragile. Too much of anything leads to destruction. After they left, I lit the photo album on fire. Years of memories and feelings were reduced to ashes. In the flickering flames, my phone vibrated. It was a message from Davian, reminding me that our agreement's deadline was approaching. Attached was a link to an article with the headline, "Sinclair family heir spends millions on a pink diamond necklace for his future mistress." In the accompanying interview, Davian exuded arrogance, his expression utterly self-assured. "If the Hartley family is willing to offer their daughter as my mistress, the least I can do is treat her well." The news had gone viral, sparking outrage online, but strangely, I felt calm. I woke up early on the third day, hoping to say goodbye to my family. I saw Fiona crying in Noah's arms when I entered the living room. I don't mind suffering, but can't let the Hartley family's reputation be dragged down. Besides, I already have someone I love in my heart. Once I've helped the Hartley family through this crisis, I'll prove my resolve with my life. My brother and Noah rushed to comfort her. One swore his undying love, the other vowed to confront Davian head-on. Noah shot me an annoyed glance. "Lauren, have you seen how the internet is tearing Fiona apart? She's an innocent girl. How is she supposed to bear this kind of humiliation?" Fiona was innocent. The Hartley and Radford families were proud of each other. That's why he cared about the Hartley family's future and reputation, and cared about Fiona's well-being. But no one cared about me. Tears I had suppressed for so long finally spilled over. I looked up at them, my voice trembling. "If I were the one going to the Sinclair family, would you be reacting like this? What are you even talking about? Stop being jealous. You're always picking fights and causing trouble. You're useless." They were the ones who had once sworn to spoil me like a princess. Now they were the same ones who belittled me, accusing me of being immature and incapable. It was their failed investments that caused the downfall of the Hartley and Radford families. It was their pity for Fiona and their inability to confront Davian that left us powerless. Yet, somehow, all the blame landed on me. It was as if my mere existence after Fiona's arrival had become a mistake. Fine, if I were nothing but a burden, I would leave. Leave forever, and never come back. I turned toward the stairs, my heart heavy with determination. But before I could take another step, Fiona appeared, her face twisted in smug triumph. "Lauren, 'cause you're the eldest daughter of the Hartley family, soon, everything you have will belong to me." Her voice dropped into a mocking whisper, but suddenly, she screamed and threw herself down the stairs. The commotion brought Noah and my brother racing to her side. They didn't even hesitate, dropping to their knees to shield her fragile body from further harm. Fiona leaned weakly into their arms, her tears flowing like a tragic heroine's. "I tripped. It was my fault, not my sister's," she whimpered, her voice trembling with false innocence. "Please don't blame her. She didn't push me, I swear. But if you weren't here, who knows what might have happened?" Noah turned his disbelieving eyes on me, his face twisted with disgust. "Lauren, is ruining Fiona's happiness not enough for you? Now you want her life too? How can you be so vicious?" My brother's face darkened as he approached me. Before I could react, his foot lashed out, and I was sent tumbling down the stairs. Pain erupted as my head struck the sharp edge of a marble step, warm blood trickling down my face. My body felt broken, every movement a fresh agony. I saw Noah walking towards me. Desperate, I extended a trembling hand toward him, silently pleading for help, but instead, he grabbed me by the hair, dragging me across the floor like a piece of garbage.